Burgess. Now here's a little run. Taking off there was Hutchison. Sent it out to this right-hand side. Good saving touch, though, from Japan. Very tight stuff there right along the try line. So they work it back towards the middle now. Hutchison then pops it once more here. Out for Sinclair. Sinclair taking off and a little bit missed time there for New Zealand. Good up and in the face pressure from Japan.
Yeah, good defence. I think there was a couple of slips from both teams, and actually good defence by Japan. Matt Sinclair just with a bad pass from that open side quickie.
So now Japan working it up towards halfway with those fresh players jumping into the action as well. Quick play the ball too. Pretty forceful contact there from New Zealand, but not ruled as a forceful touch, if you will. And Japan, at the moment, not a bad set, but New Zealand winning that field position battle early on.
Yeah, 5 metres into New Zealand half. New Zealand will be happy with that. There was a few roll balls that New Zealand dominated in that first 6.
So here come New Zealand now, nice and hard with Willison driving forward. Pearce is an option once more. Now sends it wider still for Morris. Morris backtracking momentarily here. Back to Willison. And once more to Morris. Just cycling through the middle here at the moment, New Zealand. Bouncing off the left foot. Here comes Willison. Setting up Morris. Beautiful pass out wide. And New Zealand have first points in this big fixture here in the Men's Open.
Yeah, I think the Japanese have just got man on here on a short side play, and he's just stepped back. Instead of going short side, he stepped back. And the Kiwis have completed the 3-on-2. Just basic hands there from the Kiwis, and a bit of a slip as well. It is wet out there still. We've had quite a bit of rain today, haven't we?
Certainly has been raining cats and dogs at times here as well in Nottingham. You, of course, Meeks, are more than accustomed to that kind of conditions here in this part of the world. As now Japan go on the attack, playing all the way through nearly, but just getting back in time was Hotham, who made the touch. So Japan still in good field position here. Their first real opportunity. Last play now. Little wraparound floating over the top, and that's gone a mile forward in the end. So score remains 1-0 in favour of New Zealand after about 2 minutes of play.
Yeah, on that attack from Japan, they didn't really move the defence, so the links could stay quite far back. So as soon as that touch was made, they popped up and actually made the Japanese throw the ball forward. So it's good defence by the Kiwis. Good strong start from them now.
So up over halfway they march now, midway through the count. Nice little late cycle of the ball there, and then played quickly from Jones. They'll send it back to the middle now. Good touch from Japan, stepping up quickly, but they've got the running here, New Zealand. They find a wide ball, a beautiful pass from Hutchison, and now Rehana Finch goes in for New Zealand's second.
This is lovely. It's a nice little passive play, as we call it in touch footy. And as they pick up, I think it's 32. It might even be middle. So middle step back into a pass instead of chopping holes, and they just get the 2-on-1 on the outside. It's the Japanese winger couldn't just snipe that early enough. Good hands by the Kiwis.
A lovely passive play there out the back. Hutchison just looming in support and then finishing it off nicely. A good pass out there for Finch. 2-0 now after about 3.5 minutes as Japan go on the attack here. So marching forward and then picked up. Played out the back here for Yago. Yago now heading out of that right-hand side. Instead, they go here for Hagino. And Hagino now sends it all the way to Yago. They're stepping up here, New Zealand. A lot of pressure in defence as Yago drops it back now, and they won't get a chance to launch a raid here. So New Zealand now driving forward through the run here of Hutchison.
Oh, referees let that one go. I think that's definitely the line.
Yeah, strong contact there indeed from New Zealand. Now Davis crabbing across towards the middle of the field. Now for Morris. Turns it back here for Willison. Willison picking up, and then a deep option there. It was passive Davies, and unfortunately they're a little bit too passive with the handling as well.
Yeah, poor handling, but they've run that passive play twice now for middle scoop. So it'll be interesting to see now if they go short side instead of running a passive play or even chopping holes. But nice drive by Japan.
Well, the intensity was good there.
Yeah.
It was on point. They were marching forward downfield, but unfortunately, just an error in the play the ball. So that lets New Zealand off the hook. It was building quite nicely for Japan.
Yeah, on-field referee was coming through saying forward off the ruck, so he's just got a good call, and the Kiwis are away, are they?
Nice little touch coming across in the end there from Yamamoto. He got there just in time. Now I'll come back to this 7-metre mark now. Sending it towards the middle through Law, who drops it down nice and quick. And now Hotham pops a little pass, getting very close to another try there. I4 Jones is sent back to that 7-metre mark.
Yeah, great little sweeper, great little dive as well. He got really low really quickly. 32 set up here long.
Savage drops it, and now they really put on the afterburners here. Hotham gets all the way through. Far too much speed here. And Hotham reigns supreme here. 3 tries to nil for New Zealand early on.
Yeah, and this is just a simple 32 pickup with a long, and because the Japanese defence is so tight, they can't get outside and just get on the outside. I'd like to see the Japanese just try and keep a bit tighter and push up a bit more, but the speed of the Kiwis is just intense at the moment.
We tend to associate New Zealand with very fancy footwork, but in the opening exchanges here, it's just been about speed and hitting the line hard.
Day one, they want to kind of impress. They want to show what they're about and why they competed with the Aussies so much last year. And they're showing that definitely. I've just watched the Aussies against the US on pitch 3 it was, and they're just so intense in everything they're doing. I think Kiwis need to bring that to try and pit them in their, well, I'm going to say world gold medal match, but I might be presuming too much there.
Well, it certainly will set the tone for the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Though. An impressive showing here as New Zealand come forward now with Sinclair, sending it out wider still now for Davis. Davis turns it back towards the middle as Hutchison dummies a couple of times and now plays it. Eventually he'll go back onto the mark here, around about 10 metres away from the line. Hutchison out now for Sinclair. Back to Hutchison once more. It's the Hutchison and Sinclair show at the moment. Look to be forward by a mile there from New Zealand, but they'll get away with one. And another set coming here.
For the Kiwis to attack. I think the Kiwis are just looking to move the ball in attack here. They're moving the ball, seeing if they can get the defence running, and that's how they'll get the overlaps.
So Sinclair now back to Hutchison once more. Sinclair, Hutchison throwing it through the middle. Another penalty coming here in favour of New Zealand. So that's only one. But more pressure here for Japan. Slowed down here from Sinclair. Hutchison continues to promote it to Urban Burgess. Now Sinclair back towards the middle. Hutchison pointing and directing traffic here is Sinclair. Gets a late release back, and now they can look to launch a raid. Hutchison, good footwork. Now it's really building for New Zealand, and in the end it's like shelling peas. Big dummy comes out from Davis, and he strolls across the line.
So the composure from the Kiwis here, they just move the ball. It's a nice 32 pickup. It's a quick long ball, step back into hole one. Japanese just can't really shut it down, and he just goes through. I think if you look at the way you're talking here, James, when the Kiwis are defending, you're having to say a lot between a touch, and the Japanese are actually not having to say. You're not saying too much between touches here because they're not keeping the ball alive and moving the defence, and that's what the difference is right now.
Well, Yago here is looking to change that, drops it down quickly. Now the attempt here from Urakawa, got very close. Now head back here to the 7-metre line. So a static start here on the last now for Japan. Set out to that left-hand side, but they'll opt instead to just kill it away from the New Zealand box. I'd potentially like to see them have a crack there, given they haven't been down the centre of the field that much.
Absolutely, it's last play, but it's wet. It's wet definitely through that middle. They could try and exploit something, but it's a game of trying to go full field, and if Kiwi's got to go more than 70 metres to get down there, then I guess that's what they're opting for.
So now Poi Hippie brings it forward, and then on the follow-up, out of acting half, it's Hotham. Hotham sends it on wider still. Now there's more danger brewing, and once more they strip them for numbers, and Finch has a double.
If anyone's watching and not really watched rugby before, just watch the way they pass the ball and just create a 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and just get on the outside. That is just the simplest of forms of rugby, and it's just so nice to watch. But that all comes from the way they're driving up the field. They're going, getting to halfway within 2 touches. That allows them to have 4 more in the Japanese half.
So now Kubota bringing it forward, and he's eventually caught. Out of acting half, Ashima back to Kubota. Ashima. Kubota once more, looking to work over the middles here of New Zealand's defence. Wrapping around with a little attempt here is Hagino. Hagino running out of real estate, heads back to the middle. Quick release there, but not quick enough. Touch pass is called. And again, they just have no answers for this brutal New Zealand defence.
Yeah, I would just like the Japanese to move the ball a little bit. The links of the Kiwis' defence at the moment are just stationary. They're not having to do anything. The middles are just, up and back, not side to side, and then the Kiwis move the ball, and now they're at the 10-metre line on first touch.
Easy meters there from a simple little side switch, and then up the sideline they went. As now they're all streaming onto it here. Urban Burgess with numbers in support, pops it out the back here for Jones. Jones finds a pass wider still. An acrobatic attempted finish, but I think they just get there in time, Japan. So we'll come back to the 7-metre mark here. Jones sending it towards the middle. Urban Burgess picked up here from Sinclair, going at speed, finding support nearly. No, stepping in the passing lane there was Kubota, and he knocks it down, but this should be a New Zealand ball still.
No, I think it's a penalty. Oh, hang on, the referee's pointing in two different directions. He's pointing to the Kiwis now. It was a holding penalty against the Japanese as they went through. The Japanese just had a hold of one of the Kiwis.
And right now they're also just trying to hold on to the game here. It's very tough going as Urban Burgess sends it wide. Now a little opportunity as New Zealand step back away off the left foot. They'll pop it towards the middle here. Urban Burgess, Sinclair with nowhere to go as Japan continue to step up now. Still an opportunity through the middle, though. They'll come away here for I4 Jones, who sends it wide. Urban Burgess stopping on a run. Now turns it back to the middle. Japan, aggressive defence. Up and in the faces here. Sinclair with nowhere to go. And then they pull off a little bit too early, and there is the penalty.
Yeah, Sinclair's so calm, isn't he? He just gets the ball, and he's just like, right, are they going to come towards me? No, we'll get a penalty against, and we'll have a new set of 6. They'll all go straight. He gives the ball to Half. He gets the ball back, goes long.
Here goes Sinclair now, bombing long, nearly taken in with 2 fingertips. That would have been quite special in the end, but just out of the grasp.
NFLS that would have been, wouldn't it?
Oh, a bit of a wide receiver play there
absolutely.
For New Zealand. As now here comes Japan. Speaking of the wide receiver, this man's got the gloves on too, so that's outstanding here. And then good pressure coming in from Urban Burgess. Maybe a little bit too much though, and they were offside. So now a good opportunity to build a little bit of pressure here for Japan.
Yeah, 9 minutes to go in this half. Hopefully the Japanese can get something on the board and see if we can get something going in the second half for the first.
The Yamada playing it, and now Hamada holds it back. Yamada to Hamada, and Hamada
That's
diving from distance. Did he get under them? Oh, it looked very close. Millimetres in it.
Referee, give it. It looked very close, didn't it? It looked very close.
They might still have something up their sleeves here. Hamada waiting for the touch. Now they head out to that left-hand side. Got away rapidly. Great covering touch, though, from Matt Sinclair, who took off like a rocket.
Yeah, and it was just a nice long play. The ball was a bit too high for the Japanese middle. He couldn't catch it, and that's why it allowed Matt Sinclair to get over and cover it.
Well, he's been close to best on ground at the moment here, Matt Sinclair. He's left, right, centre, all over the place, covering enormous ground with both the ball in hand and in defence. As now Davids comes on the run here. Low pass, taken in. Morris drops it back. Davids once more. Morris. David's looking for an opening, plays it down. Out to Morris it comes. They've got numbers on this left-hand side, and they work it beautifully. It is absolutely clockwork here from the Kiwis, and Tiwi Davies goes in.
Similar kind of all the other scores so far. Kiwis are trying to promote the ball, trying to keep the ball alive until the right dump is allowed, and then they just make sure that the ball is on the outside. The Kiwis compact the Japanese defence. There was that opportunity from Japan as well. I thought it could have been a score, but the referee gave the touch.
I think he's spot on there. So the ball does hit the ground early, but just before the line, and then the touch is made just as it starts to scrape towards that try line. So Japan still searching for their first try. They'll send it wide early, but look at the work here from Davids, getting across so quickly to shut things down. That is the fitness here of the New Zealand side.
Yeah, it's the first real attacking at the line that the Japanese have done. They've run a passive play, similar to what the Kiwis have run a couple of times now. And Davies just got over there with great speed. I think he's given a penalty away for maybe not being onside, but...
Incorrect roll ball there from Japan. It was only a little bobble that knocked it forward, but Eagle Eyes, the refereeing squad, they were onto it.
This is the World Cup. A little bobble is a lot in the World Cup.
It's enough to sink a whole campaign, if you will.
Oh, I've seen it.
Here comes New Zealand. Nearly a strong touch there from Urakawa, but still the Kiwis marching forward. And once more, Sinclair is out there, picks it up and scoots. And now tries to squeeze through a couple of defenders, but Japan holding firm on this occasion. So now they look to work it away from their own end. Touch coming up here from I4 Jones. According to the officials, he was never quite back on side, so Japan will get another set to work with here, and they can get something on the board before half-time. we know one thing about Japan, they're excellent at recalibrating things during the break.
Yeah, they definitely are, aren't they? I think they've definitely noticed the speed over this last, what are we now, 15 minutes. I'd like to see them go at the try line a bit more, and as they do that, they get caught at half. So at least they're going full field here.
They're certainly not dying wondering here. Japan, 2019 bronze medalist from the Malaysia World Cup. And they will get another look at the line here now with around about 4.5 minutes remaining in this first half. 6 tries to nil here in favour of New Zealand. They'd love to get something on the board before the break.
Yeah, I'd like the Japanese to just try and promote the ball a little bit more, just to see what they can do, try and split the middles of the Kiwis.
A little pass here for Urakawa. Drops it down now. Hamada having a little cracker, then once more goes from distance. And once more they get him just in time. But when they're offside like that, you have to start wondering, is it worth calling the play through?
It potentially, maybe someone made the touch, it was onside, but someone was offside. They promote the ball.
Little pass here from Urakawa. Now waiting and acting half. There's a second penalty now, so New Zealand have to be careful here. Otherwise, they risk a man being sent from the field.
That's for 3 penalties, that would be. Is that right, James?
That is absolutely correct. Now, Hamada, unfortunately, once more wanted that long-range dive. This time the ball comes spewing out well and truly before the line. Great hands there as well from New Zealand in the form of Hutchison. And now look at them just march upfield. So much urgency about their play.
Yeah, they're going 10 to 15 metres every single touch. And Davidson here goes down middle.
David's once more an option now. Pops it here for Morris. Sends it out wide. Back here for Morris once more. Drops it down, and now Davies on the run himself. Collides there with a Japanese defender who was onside. So that is the turnover. And the last couple of sets defensively have been very good for Japan. So now up towards halfway they come. Looking to get reinforcements on the field. Iago tips it back towards the middle, then heads to the sideline. Now a run here from Yamada. And now out to Yokomizo. Still keeping it alive here through Yamada once more, but he runs out of real estate, and it's up and in defensive pressure from New Zealand, just offering no gaps at all.
No, they're keeping very tight. They're not being allowed to, the Japanese aren't being allowed to, as the Japanese get a penalty here for a hard touch against the Kiwis. Yeah, it looks like they've got a repeat set in the Kiwis half now.
So a chance for a little bit of pressure to build. Hopefully they can crack them. At the moment, Hamada seems to be the main choice of weapon here for Japan with that long-range dive. There's a little bobble in there. I think that was a New Zealand foot, though.
Yeah, it was.
Another set to come here for Japan. Now, play it quickly here for Sato. Sato dropping it down, and now an option once more on this right-hand side. Great read from out wide, though, from Finn Barnett, who came shooting in off the wing, and it was a decision that had to be made.
It's a bold call on the wing, isn't it? But let's see if he does it again. He won't be doing it this time.
This time they were struggling to get back, but fortunately for New Zealand, Sean Law was able to hit the line in time and then make the touch.
Japan have run this move 3 or 4 times now, and actually they've not got the rub of the green in terms of the referee giving a score, but I'd like them to see run something off it, maybe a long off this. Look, they're going to run along maybe through the middle. No,
here's Yamada stepping it out here to this right hand side and then trying to squeeze through a couple of defenders was Sato, but once more New Zealand standing firm. So it's been a real concerted approach on this right hand edge.
Yeah, I'd like them to try and go through the middle and see if they can get the Kiwis defence collapsing, but at the moment they're not, and that's obviously allowing the easy defence from the Kiwis.
So Hagino making that touch, and then New Zealand once more rolling upfield with relative ease. This is frightening stuff here from the Kiwis, and now to Urban Burgess. Sets it here for Sinclair, who goes very early. Oh, great footwork as well from Finn Barnett, popping back in off the left foot, and he's cut a blade of grass in half and then gets it to ground for a 7th try here for New Zealand.
Watching the Kiwis just transition on in the Japanese half. There's 4 players coming on at the same time. We need to start looking if they've got 7 on, but I don't think they do. They are coming on with so much speed. They're getting 3rd, 4th and 5th touch in the middle of the park, and that makes the Japanese defence really tight, and that's how they're getting that overlap.
Well, the athleticism there as well, and the finish from Finn Barnett. I'll tell you what, Meeksy, my knees are crying at the moment watching that.
That's why I'm stood here.
especially with the soft ground underfoot as well. Japan won't look to launch one final raid here. They've decided they've seen enough, and they'll have to do a fair bit of soul-searching here at the break, and certainly a lot of recalibration. A dominant first-half display here from New Zealand, 7-0.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough team talk for the Japanese, but I'm sure they'll come back strong in that second half.
So a lot of work to do here for Japan in the second stanza. We'll take a quick break here at the University of Nottingham Highfields Sporting Complex. At the break, New Zealand leading Japan 7-0 in the Men's Open for the Touch World Cup 2024.
Is not going to be an option due to the condition of the grass and the wet. There has been alternative parking arrangements. You can park at Kings Meadow campus. That's a park and walk. This is Kings Meadow campus, park and walk. The registry postcode for this venue is N for November, G for Golf 7, 2, N for November, R for Romeo. That is Kings Meadow Campus. NG7, November Golf 7, 2 November Romeo. This location is a park and walk. You are parking down there. There is also arrangements for park and ride at Riverside. You will park at Riverside and walk across to the colleague, and buses will bring you to Highfields. There is no parking on Highfields tomorrow. No parking at Nottingham Hockey Centre tomorrow. Please note, Kings Meadow Park and Walk will be £10 per car. The park and ride at Riverside will be £5 per car. This is a all persons announcement to players, spectators, officials. There will be no parking tomorrow at Hockey Centre or Highfields. There is park and walk at Kings Meadow campus, which is park and walk, this is £10. There is park and ride at Riverside. You park up at Riverside and walk to Holly. All information will be sent out to team managers. There's the officials, your 2-minute warning. There's the officials, your 2-minute warning. So this is the final update for the half-time. The event parking update due to the weather. There is currently no public parking at Highfield or Nottingham Hockey Centre. Please use Kings Meadow campus parking and walk. This is a cost of £10 per vehicle. That is roughly a 10-minute walk. Riverside Park and Ride, where you will park outside the other venue and then you will be able to ride back to Highfields from Riverside. Cost there is £5 per car.
Welcome back here to Nottingham for the Touch World Cup 2024. A frightening first half display in that 20 minutes from New Zealand. Just about everything went to plan.
Yeah, and we were just chatting in that break that Kiwis have just done everything so quickly, but simple. Everything has been so simple, but at speed, and that is what Men's Open Touch is about. Trying to do everything simple, but speed with speed.
So Japan certainly haven't been off the pace by any stretch of the mark. They've also looked good. It's just been in that final 7. New Zealand sliding and scrambling defence. Any opportunity that has momentarily presented itself shut so quickly.
Yeah, so quickly, and that's just because the Kiwis are just staying so tight and allowing themselves to move as a group.
let's keep in mind as well, Japan are our reigning bronze medalist, and also certainly given a bit of a scare to the likes of Australia and New Zealand in recent test matches too. Not to mention certainly a couple of good results against another big nation in the form of England. But I'll get us back underway here in this second half and looking for their first try here with Oshima. Now Urakawa. Real mix up there.
Yeah,
and in fact, that's probably the first time we've really seen it come completely unstuck for Japan.
Yeah, I think they were just a bit of a bad roll ball.
Now New Zealand up towards halfway and once more making pretty easy meters of things as Davids brings it forward. And now to Urban Burgess. Picking up here from Sinclair, but not cleanly. And that goes to ground. And look at what that means to the Japanese supporters and the sub-box as well, going up as one there.
Yeah, the little bit small mistake from the Kiwis, and the Japanese in front of us were celebrating like they've just scored a try. I think that's because they're trying to just win those small gains now, and that's what they hit as they scoop through.
Another turnover here for Japan though, but I understand that it does come down to those little moments here, getting themselves back in the contest. As now it's sent back towards the middle of the field to Urban Burgess. Now sends it here for Davids, who's got a little bit of room to work with, but ultimately that pass probably didn't need to be thrown there. He could have put the foot down, and it goes over the sideline, and an easy turnover here for Japan.
Yeah, it should just be a tap-off play here. They're at halfway. They should just look to try and get down and strike on three. But his first touch was on second 2 metre line.
Really stepping up quite emphatically here, New Zealand. A lot of aggression and attentiveness in defence too. Now it's passed short here for Urakawa, looking to link up out wide, but that ball goes to ground. And New Zealand really frustrating Japan here. So now out to this left-hand side. Continued on from Willison. Nice little charge up the middle off the back of that too with Savage. So they cross the halfway line here. Still plenty of plays up their sleeves. Dropping a little short pass now, and Hutchison once more comes forward. Couple more still left here. They will get a shot at the Japanese line. Comes wider now for Davids, who drops it down. Here comes the last now, having a little look, sending it back out to Davids, who straightens up, tries to find some sort of support there, and in the end, good pressure from Japan.
Yeah, good pressure, and I think that's the first time the Kiwis have looked a bit flustered in front of the Japanese defence. So good job from the Japanese there.
They've held off in the opening 2.5 minutes here in terms of New Zealand adding to that scoreline. So Japan building a little bit of confidence here. Having a good crack at the line is the next step for them. So they pick it up out of acting half, and now passed away here for Oshima. Wrapping around is Hagino. Hagino sends it wide, an early ball there, and again, that's probably just being a little bit too exuberant with things. They did have the running of things there with New Zealand on the back foot. You just like to see them head direct on that occasion.
Yeah, they had an extra touch as well. Instead of forcing it, they had the Kiwis running, so they could have just dropped for a 32 or something like that, and they would have been able to get coming back the other side. But that is the pressure of the Kiwis. You know, we all want to put a score on the Kiwis, and you're going to try and do that extra thing. Actually, you just try and do the simple things right. At that particular moment, they would have got a score.
So Sinclair stepping up to make that touch there, and a little bit of theatrics.
Same thing, and the Kiwis just pulled a nice little corner there as they went man on. Got the ball back and then got a penalty, so it'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
So New Zealand not quite as dominant as their first half performance as of yet here in the opening 4 minutes of the second exchange, but they certainly haven't looked like having any chinks in the armour defensively thus far. As Willison brings it forward, and now for Morris. Morris drops it down here for Davies. Morris once more, wrapping around and then popping a little pass here out for Willison. Willison takes off for Davies, somehow keeps it alive off the deck, but can't find the support there of Awa Morris. And as a result, that is the turnover. So Japan now slowly marching their way upfield. Play number one, decent territory, and the subset, not a bad little exchange there either. They keep the momentum rolling. Or they march now with Urakawa, who then cycles the footy. One final play here, nice dummy, and then taking off. It was so close to a try there. I think they had them for speed, pushing through the gap.
They had them for speed. They should have scored. The Japanese coaches in front of us had a bit of a chuckle to themselves as that one nearly got a score. As we see, the Japanese just changed up their subbing pattern on this one. They actually got some free yards. They got on the outside here. as you can see on the replay. And actually, would he have got through? I don't know. Maybe not, but it was really good. I really like.
Well, now here comes Davids, and off they go here, New Zealand. They can pop it back toward the middle, but they'll bring it back here for an indiscretion from the Kiwis, and Japan probably lucky that has come all the way back. But Hagino, good pace from that previous play there for Japan, so that might be an option they look at once more here.
Yeah, I think there's twice in the last 3 sets now where the Japanese have just got on the far right-hand side on a 32 platform, and if they'd have dropped or gone through, they've actually made the Kiwis move laterally instead of being compact, and they would have got some good scores. So let's just see if they can do that.
And now out here for Hamada, and Hamada still looming in this left link position. He was looking for the ball to arrive, but it didn't quite get that far. Instead, Urakawa took it himself and now plays it. Urakawa, little ball here for Ashima. Urakawa once more, great dummy, and this time he splits them. Beautiful play there from Urakawa, who had numbers in support inside and outside. That just created a little bit of indecision in the New Zealand line, and he had enough pace to capitalise.
Yeah, it's what we've been saying all along, that the Japanese need to actually get on the outside, and for the first time that they have, they throw in a 32 long, and Davis just pops up as the Kiwi link, but he can't defend that, and the try scorer just steps inside, and the Kiwi middle couldn't make that final touch.
Now Sinclair hopping in an acting half, pops a little pass here, and they've still got numbers out on this wide side. Now I think Japan may have done enough here. No, they've cleared it all the way through, and that means it's another try here for Finn Barnett, and I believe that's the hat-trick.
Just a simple 3-on-2 when they've run the sweeper. Everyone snipes in, and it's just a 3-on-2. It's a brilliant finish from about 2 meters out, and like you say, it's his hat-trick.
So 8 tries to 1 now to New Zealand since the break. Both teams have added a try to the tally. New Zealand, that was probably one of their easier ones, you'd have to say. It didn't really look like anything was on.
No, the Japanese defence just shut in a little bit short side, potentially shouldn't have done that, but I'm here watching, not playing.
The drop down now here from Yago, and now once more a nice little acrobatic attempted finish there from Urakawa, who's already got one, was looking to add to his tally. They'll come back to the 7-metre mark now with a static play to end this set, and they'll simply look to try and kill it as far away from the New Zealand box as possible. But at least they did ask a few questions in that set once again. And now D'Urban Burgess takes off. A nice quick roll ball to Sinclair. Heads out towards Hutchison, and look at the metres on offer there for Hutchison as Davids also drives forward. He wasn't happy with the contact, but it's a contact sport.
It's a contact sport, and he wasn't bending early enough to get that call from the referee. So it was a roll ball, and that just stopped the Kiwis' momentum, and they tried to run another passive towards the Japanese sub-box, and that didn't come off.
Now Japan working away here. Yago with that previous run, and working upfield now with Urakawa, and they get the penalty as well here, Japan. So Hagino touches it once more. They head forward. Little release here from Suyaso. Now Ashima once more. Bringing it forward. Rolls it back around about 10 metres away from the New Zealand line. Ashima out here for Kabuta. And Kubota nearly getting through. Funny little pass there for Hagino. Once more, they're looking to get that little bit of speed mismatch. He's probably the quickest Japanese player out there, Hagino.
Yeah, they've just run a sweeper, and I think they've given a penalty for not being being offside or not walking up. So Japanese have got another option. Instead of going for a sweeper, they go short side. Does he get the touch?
Once more, Hagino trying to get through, and yes, it was a good touch there from Raiki Willison. Willison just with that outstretched mitt.
The agility here, because the Japanese were going to run a sweeper away from him, they had to cut back in, so he's had to then change direction twice. So to make that touch is just show how good his agility is there.
Hagino, and now here for Kubota. And Hagino once more, stopping on a dime, straightening up and getting to ground. And Japan flying high here in the second half. Since the break, it's actually 2-1.
0-0 at half-time, isn't it? It's a sweeper play, step back, and the middle's just split too much. Yeah, it's a great call by the referee. He's on the spot there, and yeah, it's a good call.
Terrific footwork there from Hagino, and I did mention that potential speed mismatch and the sharpness of Hagino's work, but we were saying at half-time, Meeks, as well, that Japan are one of the great recalibrators in the world of touch. If something's not going right, they can fix it.
Yeah, and they've fixed as much as they can so far. The Kiwis have actually been a bit more talkative to the referee. I've heard them a couple of times now, so potentially they're getting a bit frustrated as much as they're winning on the scoreline. That there's another repeat set for the Kiwis there for the winger coming in, just getting a hand in the ball. But yeah, the Kiwis seem to be a little bit more frustrated than they were in the first half. Everything was going their way, maybe not so much in the second half.
There's Yasso stepping up and making a play at that one there. Knocked it down as it comes away once more here. Law hopping in and acting half and then sending it wide. Oh, beautiful play here from New Zealand. It's all cleared and a lovely finish too from Poi Hippie.
So simple. So the Kiwis actually started on the Japanese side of the field. They've then moved the ball 2 or 3 times and they're actually ended up on their own side of the field. Winger shoots in uncharacteristically, I would say, and it's a very good pass to the Kiwi winger on the far side.
Just see as well there, one of the Japanese supporters pointing down to the ground saying, yes, sir, he did indeed get there. So 9-2 now the score here. New Zealand still in front. 2-2 since the break, though. So a much better second stanza in the opening 11 minutes of this second half here for Japan compared to the troubles in the first 20 minutes. Sinclair makes that touch, and now the Urban Burgess brings it forward here for New Zealand. And once more, that frenetic pace out of their own end is on display here. And look at Davids really charging forward. Nice little pass here as well for Savage, who rolls it quickly. Morris charging forward. Now Willison looking long. What a ball that is from Willison. It's on the spot. It's an absolute ripper. And once more, they go in here, New Zealand. And Rehana Finch, well, guess what? That's another one to the tally for him. He's got a hat-trick as well now.
Kiwis have done everything right here. They've driven in with 2 middles. They've picked up short side. The Japanese defence has followed. He's stepped back and he's thrown long. Unfortunately, the Japanese winger on this near side to us, probably just a little bit ball watching and just watched the ball go over his head instead of just releasing a bit earlier. He probably could have got there. But the way the Kiwis sub on, it's the flow that they come on with is very impressive to watch.
The back-to-back tries now for New Zealand. That takes the score to 10-2 as that one is left behind here from Ashima. So tough going here for Japan. It was looking pretty good in the early exchanges here in this second half, but now New Zealand have clicked into yet another gear here. But here's an opportunity now for Japan.
Kiwis have just given a penalty away. I think it was just an unfortunate hard touch towards the head area, but hopefully the Japanese can get on the outside of the Kiwis, which we've been asking them to do a bit more this half.
So Urakawa plays it back now. Higino, Urakawa, Yago drops it down. Once more Higino looking dangerous. They popped it back towards the middle and then tried to promote it wider still, and then an awkward collision means the ball has come spewing out. Fortunately, they're okay. There's no injuries to either player there as Urban Burgess gets us back underway.
Yeah, good defensive play by the Kiwi winger on the far side. He's spotted the QB, so a sweeper with a quarterback play.
To Davids, bringing it forward, and now Hutchison. Oh, that was really leading quite recklessly. I think he's lucky to get away with that there, Hutchison.
Yeah, there is definitely a height discrepancy between the Kiwis and the Japanese, and sometimes I think the last 2 plays has probably shown actually. The Kiwis are standing upright into the ruck, so they need to bend and fend a little bit more.
Japan now bringing it wide as we approach the final 5 minutes, not just of this game, but of day 2 here at the 2024 Touch World Cup in Nottingham, England. Hope you're enjoying all the action as Japan once more look to try and create something here against such a stern New Zealand defensive outfit, but that up and in pressure, it really does mount.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see this on the TV, but the Japanese are subbing every single time, so they're always coming to the sub box, which allows the Kiwi defence to just slide over towards the Japanese sub box. What I'd like to see them do is actually go away from their sub box, which would then make the Kiwi defence move a bit more.
Now Morris drops it back here for Urban Burgess, and there's another penalty coming the way of New Zealand, so a chance to set up shop here down this end of the field. Urban Burgess out for Davids. Drops it down. Morris short side Ray. Davids with those long arms reaching from distance, but Japan did a good job. Got down nice and quick and turned him away. So 10-2 it remains. Morris. The Urban Burgess. Once more stepping up. Now looking to link up. Nice delay on the pass there from Urban Burgess. Quick roll ball as well. Davids promotes the footy nice and fast. And Japan once more pinged for offside.
Yeah, good scramble from the Japanese defence there. The Kiwis had the overlap. They had second phase, but the Japanese scrambled, but gave the offside penalty with a 23 quickie there. Great footwork.
Well, Jones, it was like he was on an ice skating rink for a moment there. Somehow pirouetted away from all the defenders.
I'm not sure he knew what he was doing there.
It fooled everyone, including the defenders and himself, as now they work it from right to left, and as easy as you like. It's clockwork here for New Zealand. Japan just having no answers on the fringes at the moment.
Yeah, so the Kiwis have just done what they did in the last setup, actually. They've just moved the ball from right to left and then ran a doggies play, which is a sweeper on the link. And Davis has come round, makes the Japanese winger shut in, and a nice simple finish.
So Ashima now coming forward and about 20 metres away from the New Zealand line, and this one starting to blow out a fair bit once more as Japan try and squeeze all the way through. It's now out to 11-2 with that most recent score, and Finn Barnett having a real field day out there. That's his fourth try. Ashima, now Hagino brings it forward, and nearly a headhunter there as well. Coming in was Rehana Finch to shut things down. Good thing he was not an extra couple of centimetres higher.
Yeah, it was good defence though, wasn't it? He knew where the play was going, so he just shut in. Japanese, every time they sweep at the moment, they're getting on the outside of the Kiwis. I'd like to see them do it more instead of those 23 link quickies.
So Sinclair and now Hutchison driving forward once more with those strong charges. And he's yet to get a penalty for his wares, and he's probably actually getting the rub of the green in terms of his contact there with the defensive line.
Yeah, I don't think he's bending as he's making the touch, and the Kiwis are on the outside again.
And too easy here. Rehana Finch now, much like Finn Barnett, both the wingmen have come up with 4 tries here for New Zealand, 12-2.
And as much as we watch the Kiwis flow on in subsets, what they actually do is move the ball from left to right so nicely. The Japanese can't compete and follow the ball enough to follow the attack. So yeah, just a nice simple score for the Kiwis.
Approaching the final 2 minutes of this one here. At one stage, Japan were in front in terms of the second half scoring, but New Zealand have once more clicked into gear, and since the break, 5 tries to 2 in favour of the Kiwis here. Japan, though, with another set close to the line as we come inside the final 2 now. Yago drops it down. Urakawa once more having a crack at them. Oh, from a bit of a distance, but Willison got across very quickly and shut it down.
Open side quickie towards the onside defensive middle. If he should have gone normal quickie, they'd have been okay.
Little pass here for Yago. Caught on the 7. Urakawa once more. Now looking deep this time. All good footwork here from Japan. Nearly squeezing through. But they'll come back on the mark once more here. So New Zealand, all the answers, both sides of the ball. Yago taking off once more. Stopping on a dime. Urakawa hitting a little gap, but it closed far too quickly even for his very, very speedy legs.
Yeah, the Kiwi defence is just very tight. They're now just keeping really compact and looking after all of those middle holes.
Well, up over halfway they go now. Look at the speed here from Sinclair as well. They're all chiming in now here, New Zealand. And they tip on a little play. Back here for Sean Law, looking to lay down the Law. Sinclair trying to find a wide pass, and then stepping up in the lane was Urakawa.
Just the flow on from the Kiwis. It's really nice to watch. They throw 2 wraps in with the ball back into a left 32 dump, and just allow them to get a tap on with the open side quickie here.
Sinclair continues to promote the footy, the little stutter step, and then a beautiful finish once more here for Poi Hippie. He goes in for his second of this second half. So here it is again on the replay, just once more, so smooth from New Zealand. The twist, the turn, a little stutter even to finish there, and finished with aplomb for that matter.
I reckon he's looking for a photo with that dive, don't you?
Well, he must know he's on the main streaming field here, and at full time, New Zealand just far too good on this occasion, 13-2. Now, of course, we are looking at 2 of the real heavyweights of this competition, and when you consider that Japan are the reigning bronze medalist and a team that has really threatened in recent years the likes of England, even New Zealand, Australia at times, I think New Zealand have just really made quite a statement.
just with the way they played simple footy the whole game. They didn't have to do much, didn't have to go down their game plan. They just went to play simple footy and played really, really well. I think I'm going to be biased here. I'm going to throw it out that England beat Japan in the State Cup last year. I think they can go one better and beat them again in this World Cup.
There is a bold prediction, but
absolutely.
Let's talk about today's action more generally. So obviously we've seen New Zealand put on a bit of a clinic in this particular match here. Japan with a few things they need to work on moving forward. Australia took on USA, and that was a real drubbing, unfortunately, for the United States of America there, with Australia once more looking in fine form. And also we've seen some pretty good results overall for a lot of these men's teams working forward. Fiji, for example, going down to Tonga, which was perhaps a bit of a surprise for a lot of people here. But what do you make of some of our big players in the men's open division here after the first day of their action?
I think obviously the Kiwis and the Australians are probably a level above, and I think there's always levels to a sport, and they're showing what their levels are. I'm really interested to see how they go towards the end of the tournament. But I think there's a level in between. There's a couple of levels. I think the Japanese, the Lebanese, the English, the Tongans. I'm really interested to see how they go. We've got men's open, England versus Lebanon tomorrow. I think that'll really show us where those levels are and who's going to compete for that third.
Not to mention, you talk about the mixed opens there as well. Lebanon took to the field earlier today. They got a victory in the mixed opens, and we've seen some interesting results as well for the likes of France, for example, got off to a good start yesterday against England, but then fell short. How is the mixed opens panning out for you?
Again, you just don't know. We're only on day 2, and World Cups are normally in 4 or 5 days. We're actually a 7-day tournament, so it's now how we're going to get through a 7-day tournament. Whose bodies are going to hold up the most over 7 days? So you can't really call it right now. We need to go through 4, 5, 6 days to actually figure out who's going to get to that point. So at the moment, I'm going to sit on the fence for the mixed open. I'm obviously biased and want England to get bronze, but it's going to be really difficult.
And last but not least, we've covered the men's, we've covered the mixed. What about the women's open? Who stands out for you so far?
I've watched both England and Japanese women's open. I think that could be a 3rd, 4th playoff. I think the way the Japanese women play, they play a very men's style of touch, and no one else apart from the Kiwis and Australians played that, and I think they could probably just get on top. But the English should be really competing there, and I think a couple of bold predictions from the English staff that they'll do that. But then again, how are the Samoans, the Tongans going to develop into playing this whole tournament? So it's interesting to see how it goes in the women's open as well. Yeah,
there certainly is a lot up in the air still. We haven't had too much action, only 2 days out of 7. There's still plenty more matches to come your way. In terms of the games here today, though, that does wrap us up, but that's all the action on the field. There's still a lot happening around the village. Let's take you through all of that as we bring to a close day 2 here of the Touch World Cup for 2024. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the 2024 Touch World Cup live from Nottingham. James Preston and Ben Meakin with you on what is a rather wet and soggy day here at Nottingham, unfortunately. Ben Meakin, it doesn't seem to matter where a touch tournament takes place, the rain follows.
I've been around the world, you said it yourself, Egypt, it would rain. My hometown, Nottingham, it is wet and soggy.
But even with all the wet weather here, it certainly won't dampen our spirits, and it definitely hasn't for Meg and Dan. Let's catch up with them.
Can you go through what sport means to the university?
Yeah, so where we actually stood was land that was given to us by Jesse Boots, who is of the Boots Pharmacy fame. And he was an early pioneer of physical activity, outdoor activity, and believed in a healthy body and a healthy mind. And so sport's always been in our DNA. And actually one of the first buildings built, well, the first building that was built at the university was actually our sports pavilion that was built before any of the administrative buildings. It kind of shows the importance that sport had for the university. And this was over 100 years ago. So sport's always been part of what we do. I think the university...
Things to do while they're with us.
And the Touch World Cup, it's obviously bringing in thousands of people to the region. What do you hope that Nottinghamshire gains from the Touch World Cup being here?
So we've got some practical gains, which is actually it's going to contribute around £10 million to our GVA. That's our gross value added, which is just phenomenal and outstanding. But what I'm really excited about is our 39 countries doing this cultural exchange, coming into Nottingham, experiencing Nottinghamshire and all of our wonderful things, and taking some of that home with them as well as bringing their culture to us.
We've already had some incredible results across the first day or two of action here at Nottingham for the 2024 Touch World Cup. And it's not just the players who are a little bit nervous. Some of us who are watching along also had the jitters at certain times. Ben Meakin watching the faithful partner.
Faithful partner, Alice Hobson, brother-in-law Clark Hobson. First game, first day. Nerves were trembling, debutant, but they got the win.
Let's take a look at exactly how nervous one Ben Meakin was.
So the last game between these two teams
Oh, how's that not ball down?
was at Euros. Cup round, and it was a draw from memory.
Yeah, so the last time these two played was a group game in the heat in France, and it was a draw. But France had better points difference, or score difference, sorry, to go through.
Tell you what, Clarkie's looking good here, isn't he?
It's that dark hair. Sam Dixon, yeah, boy. NQ Rebels.
Oh, hello.
Got a score here, right?
Touch pass.
Sam Grant on the fire up. Oh, sweeper.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that opened up through the middle.
Oh, poor defence that.
2 minutes to go in the first half.
First game of the World Cup. Good start.
Yep. England
start.
would love another score here. Sweeper. Straight back in. Wooshka. Clinical, Ben. Clinical.
Absolutely. Who else is on the pitch? Who else can you see?
Ella.
And? Is Jordan on the pitch?
Yeah.
And Sam Grant,
Yeah.
who's just given away a penalty. Perfect timing, Sammy. Is Gabe on the pitch?
Yeah.
All your friends are on the pitch. Oh,
Oh.
don't really know what's just happened there. All the friends are on the pitch and they parted of the ways.
Who's that? Who's this come down on Clark?
Yeah.
Who's that? Hi. Who's that?
Clarkie just does everything with such intensity.
Oh,
Oh.
so good. Uncle Clark giving some as well on the pitch. There we go.
Wooshka.
Well, the one thing we've really come to notice of this particular World Cup has been the atmosphere, from the opening ceremony itself to just simply walking around the grounds of Nottingham University. There's a real buzz about the place, Ben.
Absolutely. The fans, the referees, the players are all loving it so far, and it's buzzing out here.
And look, not only is there a bit of a buzz in the air, there's also, well, there's meant to be a bit of warmth. Instead, there's a lot of rain. It is an English summer, but of course, if we have a bit of the heat, we also need a little bit of the cooling off. So let's go and check out the ice baths and the village.
Hello and welcome to the Recovery Centre over here at Highfields. We've got the Philippine Mixed Open boys just played against Ireland. And how did it go, boys?
Very good.
And what was the score against Ireland Mixed Open?
15-5.
Okay. And how is the recovery going? Day two, so how's it going?
It's going pretty well.
So what's colder, the ice baths or the weather here in Nottingham?
Oh, I actually love the weather here, actually.
Yeah, you like the weather in Nottingham? Okay. And how's your tournament going so far?
Oh, yeah.
Better than expected. Okay. Well, good luck with the recovery, boys, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the tournament.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Hey, no! Hello and welcome to the Fan Village. We're here with some Irish fans watching the game England versus Ireland at Riverside. So we're at Highfields and they're watching the game at Riverside. Just introduce yourselves here.
Fantastic. My name is Hugh Hall.
I'm Alex.
Marie Kadire.
Hello, and how are you finding it here? How's the experience?
Fabulous so far. A little bit of rain, but we're getting through it.
It's Nottingham, it always rains. You are, absolutely. And what are you looking forward to for the rest of the tournament?
Watching all the games, cheering on everyone. I'm Australian, but here for the Irish.
Here for the Irish, but Australian.
Unless they're versing Australia, sorry.
So you're looking for all the golds? Yeah. Okay. And anything else for the rest of the tournament? Who are you here to watch?
Well, Ireland definitely, but we're watching the ladies here, and the mix we're playing, and the men's this morning beat South Africa again.
Amazing. Thank you. Enjoy. Back to the fan village. We're here with the coffee, sponsored by 200 Degrees. We found a few players and supporters from Oman, so just introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Chris.
Mike.
Liz. And Jane.
And how are we finding the event so far? Well,
fantastic. It's just been so amazing.
The weather?
Well, when you're from Oman, this is kind of quite exciting.
Okay. I've never known the Nottingham weather could be called exciting. So, kind of go to the players. How have you found the tournament so far?
Yeah, brilliant. There's a great buzz about it. Yeah. Great to watch the other teams, and good to get our first run out earlier today as well. Yeah.
Nice. And how was the run out?
Oh no, it's excellent. Like we said, we're used to 45 degrees, so coming here, it's a game changer. But we like it. I like this weather. South Africa, it's considered as car wash weather, so no, it's great. It's great fun.
And how's the fan village? How are you finding that?
Very good. Yeah, great. Thank you.
It's been a real mix of getting to know people from all over the world. It's been such a great atmosphere, making friends on the sidelines, in the fan village, everywhere we go. It's
one of the biggest touch communities in the world Cup, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All the other teams are really supportive as well. Yeah, really good atmosphere, really good, friendly, welcoming atmosphere, yeah.
Good. Well, good luck in the tournament. Enjoy the rest of your week.
2 massive days of action so far for the Touch World Cup for 2024 in Nottingham, but we look ahead to a big day 3. Now, one of the big things that occurred on day 2 was the first men's open match on the live stream. France taking on Scotland. It was a great game, very tight in the end, but Scotland just getting over the line, 9 tries to 8. We look forward to day 3 though, Ben Meakin, and I think this is another big one. It's the hometown team taking on Lebanon in the men's open division.
So exciting, and if you're going to be on the live stream, that's the game to be watching. England have come so far. They were at State Cup last year competing against the Australian teams. Lebanon, a bit of an unknown from a country, but they've got players from New Zealand and Australia. It's going to be so exciting. I'm really excited to see the outcome of it and get around that game.
And of course, led by Jason Stanton, a true legend of the sport. So with his guidance, anything could happen, a real dark horse. And not the only contest that is a real juicy one to make sure you've got locked in for the calendar. We look at the mixed opens there with Ireland taking on 7-time World Cup winners Australia.
When you say it like that, it's going to be a tough challenge for the Irish, right? But they're going to love that game. I think just watching the Australians play, get around that game, see how clinical they are, and just enjoy that spectacle.
So some massive fixtures on day 3. Make sure to keep across them all with the live stream here at Federation of International Touch. We can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Welcome to England, the 10th edition of the Touch Football World Cup. Thanks to the Federation of International Touch, all the talking stops now. We are diverse cultural backgrounds, so we got players located in different countries in the world, but they all have a connection to China, so we're really glad to have them into the team.
Nottingham is the capital of touch in the UK, which is great. So we've hosted the Atlantic Cup, hosted European Championships, and obviously this event is just another level again. But it's great to see that we can keep helping grow the sport and raise the profile of sport and do new things. So.
I love Nottingham, the home of Robin Hood. From the bright lights of Goose Fair to the peaceful nature of the Sherwood Forest woods. There's a feeling of togetherness, unity, pure, honest, love. And that feels great like a bright summer's day at the horses down by the lake at Colic. All I love Nottingham. The River Trent, the embankment, the Nottingham Carnival, different cultures dancing. The diversity, just walking down Columbus Street on a Saturday. The two lions in the square stand tall with pride. And when the markets in town come alive, it gives me life. Listen, as the council house clock chimes, and depending on how many times, lets you know the time. I've been to concerts at the Motorpoint Arena, and I've been to concerts at the Nottingham Caves. I've been here all my life and I'm still amazed by this place. I love Nottingham. Sometimes I stare at Hockley's graffiti colourful walls, and sometimes I gaze at the deers running around Woolton Hall. Supreme thrills, from chilling up at Greens Mill or up at that castle on the hill. Nottingham, I love you, and I always will.
Visit Nottingham today.
So what does it mean to you? The time?
Sweat. The passion.
The thrill? The determination?
The support.
The camaraderie?
But it's so much more than that.
We're playing for something bigger.
You ready?
Question is, how are you going to leave your legacy?
Nola, and I'm representing the Hydex programme, which is one of the sponsors of the Touch Rugby World Cup. Hydex is a collaboration of a number of universities based in the Midlands, including the University of Nottingham. One of Hydex's main aims is to support industry to innovate, developing new products and services in the hydrogen economy. We decided to sponsor the Touch Rugby World Cup, particularly in relation to energy use, so that Geopura, a locally based business, can provide hydrogen to be utilised at the event, making the event more sustainable and improving air quality for visitors and competitors alike. We hope this support will encourage others to look for more sustainable ways to run similar events in the future. Finally, just to say, we hope everyone that's involved in the event has a great time.